once again, my name is Elizani. I come from Indonesia. I studied at Ohio University. This is my third year. So today I'm going to talk about the voice of female leaders in Aceh. Aceh is part of the western part of Indonesia. Probably all of you might heard the tsunami 2004. That's where the study takes place, and there where I come from. Today I will talk about the background information, why I did the study, research question, theoretical framework, methodology, and the results. Why I do this study? Because the first one is women in the chronological order has changed from the history to the current past. In the history, many women are become the hero, and even they rule the country, and they can lead the battles. Like this is Malahayati, the first woman admiral in the modern world. She led around 2,000 females to fight the Dutch for colonization. And then, because Indonesian military and Acehese separatist movement fought for about 33 years in armed conflict to get an independence, and then many women are involved in the military because they want to fight. Because many women at that time have become the object of the political war, and many of them were raped, and then they decide to join the men to fight with them. And the tsunami make women more marginalized from the top, and then the marginalized, because the tsunami most of the victims were women, and then most of their economics are destroyed. Because when women cannot contribute to the family, their voice is sometimes, especially in the patriarchal society, were not heard. And these women are usually, before the tsunami, they most of them sell like food. They have like small business, and then when after the tsunami, they're all destroyed. So they have no voice anymore. Even though the many international agency, local, international, come to bring like humanitarian assistance, but mostly male bias to male work. And then because of tsunami, this is also a positive one. Because of the tsunami, the separatist movement and Indonesian military, they come to peace. They have peace. They agree to have a peace agreement. But again, what peace means for women? Still, the women are excluded in the peace process. Not many women are invited to sit in the peace process. And then they built one of the board commissions to help integrate ex-combatant to the community. But out of the 43 members in the combatant reintegration board, only 3 were women. And for those ex-combatants, they provide compensations in form of like money. But at the first batch, 300 ex-combatants were given compensations, but 3,000 all were men, no single women included. So where the voice of female soldier and many females who got victim in the conflicts. And again, the case of Aceh is very complicated. We applied 2 rules. First one is government rule. The second one is Sharia law in Aceh. So this one also hindered the women, involved in public sphere. For example, one of the strict interpretation of Islamic law that women cannot dance in public. And also women cannot farting with the sons, and women cannot strike with motorcycle with men. So it's they just they just focus on women's privacy. That also makes the women more marginalized in society. Another example, there are some of the girls commit suicide because of these interpretations. For example, one of teenage girl commits suicide after being accused of prostitution because she attended a concert with her male friends, and then she left later that because she felt not comfortable, because she wants to keep their family, not feeling shy, so she commits suicide because of that. And then the literature explained what are the challenges for women involved in politics? Because one of the reasons to stop the women's oppression is to get women more involved in politics. But when women got involved in politics, what are the problems? So still, the male-dominated culture is very difficult for men to involve in politics, and gender tax distribution in a traditional agriculture society, especially in agriculture society like Aceh, many women are not really prepared to go out for politics. They consider that this is male work, and the image of women as a weak group, and also a few religious teaching that limit women's freedom, like interpretation of rule of Islamic law, and also the lack of political wills and lack of women capabilities and political cadre for women. So there is one good one achievement doing by feminist movement in Indonesia, how to increase women in politics, especially in legislative. They advocate for 30% quota for women in the politics. Otherwise, that political party cannot register for legislative. So there are two laws. In 2003, each political party contesting in election might nominate candidate with due regard to the representation of women to have at least 30%. But there is a problem with this law, because there is no control. Why, if that political party doesn't involve women, what is the risk? There is no risk. And then because of this problem, the feminist movement also works again to enforce this law. In 2012, this law also mandate at least 30% of women should be involved in politics. But they have to make sure that within the three top positions should be at least one woman registered. Otherwise, the political parties doesn't eligible to be nominated. And this the condition in 2014 elections. Although the law was there, but on the provincial level in Aceh, only 12 women were elected out of 18 parliamentary seats. That means 48%. And also in the district level, even more worse. 57 women out of 650 seats, 8.8 were elected. And the representation in parliamentary and national, there is no representation from women. So my recent question was, so because this is a problem, I saw this is a problem, I want to understand what challenge faced by some female candidates, why they cannot be elected, what the problems. So my first research question is, even when affirmative action through a legislative quota system have been implemented, does the number of women in politics remain very low? Why? And then what challenge do female candidates face in 2014 provincial and local election? And then what might be better strategies for advocating a women's agenda in Aceh? So I use a conceptual framework, Politics of Presence by Anne Phillips. So should be a representation of women in legislative in order to increase the exclusion of marginality. So I interviewed 6 female candidates who ran for provincial election. 3 were who ran from locals, and 3 were provincial level. My finding was, first, the challenge of implementing the quota system. The implementation of the new change in the quota system was too short, because the second quota system was signed in 2012, and the election 2014. There is very short term for political party, especially to search for capable women. And then the voter also, because as I said, Aceh is very patriarchal society, community. the voter themselves doesn't want to vote for women, even though women are more women are than male in Aceh. And then my second finding, lack of leadership in female candidates and the need for political education for all. First, many female candidates were not confident enough to participate in the public sphere. Because, in order to fulfill the quota, many of the political parties just choose any women because otherwise they cannot register for the parliaments. And many of female candidates are felt insecure. When they talk in the public, they are really insecure. And then lack of political consciousness among the candidates themselves. Because, they think when they are in the parliament, their job is like, what we call that, distributing the humanitarian assistance. They got money and then just distribute. There is no like political, what is their agenda, like budgeting something. And then, the need of political educations among the candidates and also the voters, not only for the female candidates. And also, my third finding is still the implementation of Sharia, strong patriarchal belief still hinder women's participation in politics, and also the political terrorism tactics used by male close to the elections. And my finding 4, this is integrating all marginalized voices, empowerment for youth, women and minority, and capacity buildings, and female approach. Female is one good strategy, because some of them said that if we want to run the next election, we have to approach female, because when female talk to female is more, more. And my conclusion is there is an indication that the involvement of women in politics, especially in 2014 election, is a token to carry out the 30% quota. More political education for women, for female candidates, political party and constituents can be the answer for the current problem. The political will of the government in improving women involvement in politics is crucial. Otherwise, the terms of emancipation, awareness, and gender equity are merely jargon to appease women. Thank you.